Okay, so you're calling expired listings
Yep,
and you're finding, so say there's an expired listing that Todd Bailey had. You're going into the expired, you're finding the agent, and you're saying, "Hey, Todd," you're not calling the expired seller, you're calling the expired agent.
correct.
And so this is fascinating to me because usually if they're expired, most times they're not going with the same agent because they think that agent didn't do enough or didn't do anything right. So how are the agents getting the sellers to listen?
So I got all this actually from John Dietz, and he's the one that basically trained slash coached me on this.
Okay.
Um, 30% of sellers end up relisting the property with the same agent. Another 30% of agents will get relisted with a new agent. And then another 30% of agents will end up not listing that property for another 6 months. And those are basically, you have two areas of opportunity. The ones that don't relist with the same agent and the ones that don't list for another 6 months. And they wait for everything to kind of reset or enter into a new market. Those are your big areas of opportunity to have those conversations.
So the agent's just calling the seller and saying, "Hey, I want to," I mean, this is
I
fascinating to me.
Yeah, so I actually asked them not to call the seller direct. I asked them if I know the agent really well and we've got a good relationship. I'll say, hey, do me a favor, shoot the seller a text, let them know, I'll give them a call. If I don't know the agent, I say, hey, can you provide me the seller's information? Send over the referral agreement, and as soon as I get that referral agreement, I'm going to give that seller a call, and we'll work this together as a partnership, and I'll explain everything to them over the phone.
And you have 19 appointments with the sellers
I have 19 appointments booked going to the middle of March.
for sellers.
Correct.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh. Okay, are you guys following what he's doing?
How are you
Brilliant.
framing that with the seller?
Brilliant.
Are you speaking to your association with the listing agent?
Sorry, Eddie, you broke up a little bit there for me. What'd you say one more time?
How are you framing it with the seller? Like, do you tell them that you have a relationship or association with the listing agent?
Depends on a few factors. Typically, when I go directly to the seller, it's hey, you know what? I've known John Smith for such and such time. We may have done a transaction together. We may have not, depending on what the relationship is. Obviously, never tell a lie, but kind of explain the relationship I've had with that agent, and then say, hey, we basically I built a partnership with the agent. Maybe something that they've done may not have worked. Something that I may do may work. I'd love to spend 20, 30 minutes with you guys to kind of walk you through what the process looks like for us and then go from there. And then I just go through my full listing presentation with them and run it as normal queue. But getting the appointment from the seller directly would be okay from the other eight. It comes off more as a warmer call, not as much as a cold call direct to seller for an expired.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So you've got 19 appointments and you're still just starting this. So have you converted any of them yet?
Yeah, I got 6 listings from it right
Holy cow.
now, and three of them are over 2 million.
Okay, y'all think this is a cool strategy that's thinking outside of the box and he's opening up his crazy playbook right now and sharing that? How cool is this? Okay.
The other
Matt,
port,
what is your ratio to appointments versus dials on these agents? Do you have any idea what it's looking like?
yeah, 16.
That's pretty good.
One out of every 16. I'm getting the I should I haven't tracked the actual appointments yet. I've tracked the agent saying yes, I would like to proceed with this, and that's one out of every 16.
Why would an agent say no? Ego, I guess, right?
Or they're going to relist it.
Or they're going
Or,
to relist it.
or,
Yeah.
or they think they have an opportunity to relist it.
Man, there are
Yeah,
so many there. I've got a number of clients that I was like, they're not, I'm happy to let it go, but how cool would it be to let it go to somebody else and still get a referral from it? So it's not all
yeah.
lost. Wow. I can even see some sellers where I would pull the listing and withdraw it to have you do it. You know, because
Well,
not
I'm
all
in. And
business is good
it
business.
may not
And
be a fit for me. Yeah, it may not even be a fit for me, but it could be fit for someone on the team. And we
yeah,
have a conversation with the seller and figure out from there.
Matt, I love this. Okay.
How many of these,
We have a guest here really quick, but I want us to dive into this. What questions do you have, Diller? I know you have a question.
how many of these do you think the market just exhausted? They've been on 6 months or so, and it's not really like agent or marketing, or do you think it is? I hate to say agent, but the agent and the marketing. What are you going to change?
80% of the ones that I have right now are all overpriced.
What is
And
the
it was-
script? What's your script for a price reduction, or do you think they're just finally exhausted?
Okay, so currently right now, the way that I'm looking at your listing, the way that I look at every listing, whenever I have a new listing, you need to be the top 25% in presentation and the lower 25% in price. And if I'm looking at your current listing right now, how would you grade that on a scale of 1 to 10? And let them answer that. And then they would basically tell me their feedback. And then I'd say, well, I have my own opinion as well. We can talk about it during our call. And then we go during our meeting and I walk them through it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
What made you
that's all
think
John
of,
Dietz.
okay, so John Dietz is the one giving you this idea. Go
And
John Dietz.
coaching me
Okay,
in the whole thing.
by the way, y'all, you're all getting the coaching calendar every Sunday. If you're not, reach out to me. The coaching calendar, the 8 to 8:30 with John Dietz every single morning. He was a massive team leader in Florida. He is a massive coach. He charges a lot of money for coaching. But a lot of us have poured into his groups back and forth that he does a coaching call for free for all of us every single morning, 8 to 8:30 Central Time. So just follow that coaching link that I send out every Sunday and just check in and click on. But you're getting this kind of coaching that a lot of people spend a lot of money for just because, and he's really smart in what he does on the production side, also the attraction side. And it's every single morning, 8 to 8:30 Central. And it's free to us. So for y'all that are like, oh, I want new ideas. I mean, like what Matt's just telling me, I've never heard of this. And I know John really, really well. So what nuggets can you get to implement into the business that's going to make you different and better? Not everybody's going to do what Matt does, but there's other things that can come out of those coaching calls that are going to be helpful. This is cool. This is cool. Christy, okay, you should be getting that email. I'll send it to you. Okay. Okay.
And then I'll add on Monday, Wednesday, Friday is script and role play. Tuesday, Thursday will be his lecture / coaching. Camera's on, he'll call on you and you'll be able to do live role play. Camera off, it's more of you just listen. I'm gonna highly suggest you have camera on. He calls it PDR, practice. What's the D? Brian, what's the D? Drill and rehearse. Yeah. And basically it's helped me so much.
There used to be 15 people on this call a year ago, and now we're up to about 40 to 50 every morning. There should be 500 people on this call every morning.
Christy and Michelle, I'm seeing you guys in here. Send me a text or a workplace chat just to remind me if you're not getting this, and I will make sure. If you guys don't have it, just send me a workplace chat or something, and I'll make sure you're on it. John Dietz is not in our organization, by the way, y'all. This is the power of EXP. This is the power of us all being owners together. This is the power of us lifting each other as we climb and opening up our playbooks. He's not in our org. He doesn't have to do this. So I encourage you guys to start jumping into that and getting to know him. And obviously 6 new listings, 19 new appointments. That's not bad in February of 2025. Kudos to you, Kemps, on that. Really quick, because I was starting off on wins, and that's a freaking amazing win that kind of went off a little bit deeper, but we'll come back to wins and things. But as you guys know, we have amazing solutions with EXP. So many that I was getting overwhelmed, and I was like, I didn't even know all the greatness and all the things that we have. And so I was talking to Kendall Bonner. I was like, Kendall, I need all your people to kind of show us what's going on. And then just coming off of the Dallas event as well, there's so much more. So every single week we're having one of our solutions come in and just give us like a 10-minute overview. And then we can go into deep dives with them later if we want to do that. But this morning we have Scott with Sierra Interactive, and I want to introduce you guys to him. I don't know, Scott. I'm going to give you sharing capability if you need it. But Scott, thanks for joining us this morning, and we would love to understand what Sierra is doing and just give us an overview.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm just as blown away as everybody else on this call. I got to be honest with you. So a little quick background on me. I've actually been licensed for 18 years. I still run a business remotely, but I work for Sierra full time. I was a team leader. I'm actually an EXP agent. And I used to be a Tom Ferry coach, so pretty deep background in the industry. I was literally texting my business partner, dude, we got to do this. As you were talking, like, I'm like, that was crazy. So anyway, thank you again for having me. I'm here. I am the director of industry relations at Sierra Interactive. For those of you who don't know, Sierra is essentially an operating system for your business. We're a front-end IDX website tied to integrated with a full integration with a CRM on the back end. We really enable you to build your brand and automate your follow-up to your leads and to your business. So I don't have a lot of time today, so I want to use it efficiently. What I will do is anyone who wants to connect, I'm going to put my email in the chat, and I have a QR code and a giveaway when I'm done too. That'll give you some information as well. But just to show you real quick what we offer in regards to the front end websites, our websites are unique in that they're built on a proprietary SEO framework. Now, what the heck does that mean, Scott? Well, when we talk about building your brand, it's getting out there, it's driving traffic to your website. Sometimes you're paying for leads. Ideally, it's organic, so you're not paying for those leads. But our sites enable you to really take advantage of SEO because of our framework and customize your site. So here's a couple of different examples of the sites that we offer. And you'll see this. I love this site because when I say customize a site, he's really gone super deep. And as you're building out your site, building blogs, putting content on your site, that's what's ultimately going to enable you to take advantage of SEO. And we give you the power to be able to do that. Our pages are also very highly optimized, and they convert, right? So you can see, I'll just show you here. He's gone super, super deep, tied in YouTube videos. So what we enable you to do, and I don't know if you guys are taught this, but when I was an agent, I was taught it. You want to be hyper local, right? Like that's how you beat the national portals. They're not going to know details about a specific subdivision in your market, but you can provide that information to the public and the users. So that's how you can generate traffic, and that's how you can go deep in SEO. So he's gone super, super deep in regards to putting YouTube videos and things on his site. So being able to build out content, community pages, things like that on your website, capture leads, very clear calls to action. Here's another one of our site types. It looks a little bit different. It's a little bit more seller focused, but you can see all the different calls to action here. This is going to focus a little bit more on agent and team production and what you've accomplished. I've got a couple other sites I'm just going to rip through real quick because I want to be sensitive on time. Here's another one of our site types, which is designed to look like the national portals, right? So we've got buyer capabilities and sellers. Home values, a lot of people are using Fellow these days. We integrate directly with Fellow if that's a solution that you guys are using. And then the last site type is this one, which is really pretty seller focused, which obviously everybody's super excited about these days. And a lot of the calls to action are focused around sellers. Also want to show you, you can highlight searches on your website as well. So really we're all about flexibility. We're going to build the site for you, and then we're going to give you the ability to change it the way you want, right? So you don't have to call us to say, hey, I need XYZ done. You're going to have the capability to do that. And if you're looking at me like, Scott, dude, I don't want to do this stuff. Like all I want to do is sell real estate. I don't want to have to build a website. Totally fine. You don't have to change your site at all. You can leave it the way we give it to you, and it's gonna produce. Or we have partners that you can work with as well if it's not something you want to dive into, right?
Scott, somebody's asking if this is similar to Ylopo.
It is. So the front end is going to do similar things to Ylopo. What they don't offer is the SEO capabilities that we do. So, but it is all IDX fed. So all the properties that are on the MLS are going to show here, which is obviously where you want to keep and capture those leads. We're also going to capture data on what the actions the leads are taking. So how many times somebody came back to the website, and I'm going to show you this in a minute, how many times somebody looked at a property, and you can build automations around that to surface the higher intent leads in your CRM, which I'm going to jump into right now. How am I doing on time? I'm from the East Coast originally, so I talk kind of fast, so I do want to keep moving along, but tell me if,
You're good.
Obviously type in questions if you need them. So a couple of things I want to highlight on the back end. And I do want to stop and say, like I said, I do have a giveaway for you guys in regards to just business information. If you do want to get a demo, we can go deeper on any one of these things. So I'm happy to do that. Before I do this, let me show you something really cool, because I think a lot of people are still doing open houses these days. One of my favorite things on the front end is if you're doing an open house for, I mean, I'd like to do an open house for $120 million property, but if you're doing an open house for any property, you go to our front end website, you go QR-open house, just type that right into the URL, and it's going to create an open house QR code for you or your agent, right? Now, pro tip here, when my agent does an open house, he doesn't take any information about the property with him. He'll take his compliance information and contracts and whatever he has to take. But in order to get the information about the property, the visitor has to take a picture of the QR code, enter their information, which is then obviously going to get captured in the backend CRM. And that property listing gets sent to the visitor's phone directly from your website. Right? So now they're on your website. So more than likely, if they go to the next open house, they're probably just going to keep surfing on your website. That's sort of the goal there. Plus, you've captured their information in the back end, and you can take automatic steps to follow up with them as well. So one of my favorite super simple things to do on the front end. Getting back into the CRM. I mean, hopefully everybody on this call has a CRM and is actually using it. I know, obviously being an EXP agent, you guys get KV Core at no cost. Totally get that. And if you're in a position where you're still leveraging that, then go ahead and leverage it. But if you're looking to take it to the next level, that's kind of where Sierra comes in. Our focus is really kind of icon agents and teams, although we do have another package as well, which I'll talk about. And we do have exclusive pricing for EXP agents. Us being a solution provider, we want to take care of you guys, and we're going to waive your setup fee, and we do have exclusive pricing that I can give to you as well. In regards to the back end, really where we shine is a couple of different areas. So, this is pretty standard stuff here. One of my favorite things are these filters. Now, these filters give you the ability to do a couple of things. Number one, as an agent, it is going to tell you who to call. So if you build these filters the right way, these are what I like to call active call filters. So I have these filters built in a way, this is my personal system, by the way, that anybody that's in this filter, PLA means priority lead alert. Anybody that's in this filter is actually taking action on my website, and I need to call them. So all I do is click on that. I'm going to load them into our integrated dialer. That's all included, right? It's not extra for the dialer, not extra for texting. That's all included. I'm going to load them in the dialer, and I'm going to make the phone calls. And then I'm just going to work my way down the line, because each one of these filters is designed in a way that whoever's in here should be called. Case in point, this filter is going to show me any lead that's in new status that's registered in the last 30 days that hasn't been called in the last 3 days. So all my new pay-per-click leads are getting called every 3 days, right? So, and then the next filter, these are qualified leads, a little bit longer out there. Their timeline is a little bit longer, so they're going to get called every 7 days. And this can be customized and designed however you want. And again, if you're like, dude, I don't want to design this, I don't want to think about all this kind of stuff, we have partners that'll plug this right into your system at very low cost, and it'll be completely built out for you. So this to me is one of the most important things, because not only is it going to tell you or your agents who you need to be calling in your database and surfacing those higher intent leads, if you're running a team, you can hold your agents accountable, because if these filters aren't if your agent comes into you and says, dude, I'm not closing any business, I need more leads, you can go into their system and say, okay, well, let's see, are you calling the leads that you have right now? And if these filters are full, then they're not calling the leads. Or if these filters are clear, then they are calling the leads, and you can understand how you need to coach that agent to maybe they're not saying the right thing, right? So it's a great way to not only stay on top of the higher intent leads, but to hold you and your agents accountable. So really important there. Another powerful tool that we have is our lead routing. We can get super detailed with lead routing. Lead routing isn't just about getting a lead in and getting it to the right agent. It's about taking action and automations with that lead, right? Adding an automated action plan on it that can have multiple text messages, multiple emails, voicemail drops, again, all included. Adding a property search on that lead. We have the ability to add a property search based on the properties that they're looking at when they came into your system. We can create an automatic what we call an alert that's going to send them similar properties as well, right? And then putting them on follow-up plans. So this can all be done, not just routing it to the agent, but all that automation can be done in our lead routing. Okay. What else do I have here? And our automations are really best in class. Our if-then statements, automations are basically if-then statements. I can create automations that say, well, if this lead hasn't been on the site in 30 days and looked at a property 3 times, I want you to turn off the action plan I have onto them and put them in one of my filters. So I call them because they obviously need to be talked to. So it's really all about making your life and your agents' lives easier so they don't have to spend time in the CRM. They do what they need to do, and then they go out and find more business. That's the goal.
Very cool. This is a lot.
It is a lot. And,
It's a
I
lot.
mean, there's so many more things I can dive into, but again, I want to be sensitive about time. I said I have something for you guys. This is a collection of 15, and let me go put it up. Can you guys see that? My
Yes.
full screen? Great.
Yep.
So this is just a bunch of resources that you can use. You know, it's not Sierra specific, it's business specific. So I want to give you guys access to that. Different ways to connect with it's essentially different ways to connect with your SOI, different ideas for business, things like that. Okay, so if everybody's got a picture of that, they can take advantage of that. And if you didn't have a chance to take a picture because you're driving or whatever, shoot me an email or have Elizabeth get in contact with me. I'll get it for you. And then if you do want to go a little bit deeper on our solution and get a full demo, just go ahead and take a picture here and we'll be able to run you through pricing and really what I like to do in our demos is figure out how the system can help what you're doing in business now, support your business now, and then how you can grow as well with different features and functionality.
And for y'all that are driving or watching, or because we record, Scott, we stream live into our group for those
Perfect.
that can watch later. I just took I did a snippet of the code and I put it into the group so you guys
Cool.
can get it there too.
That's
Cool.
great. Thank you,
Scott,
Elizabeth.
this is super helpful. Any quick questions for Scott? And Scott, you're welcome to stay in the mastermind the rest of the time if you want, if it's helpful. Any quick questions for Scott?
I'd love to. I appreciate that.
No?
Nothing.
Okay, cool. I put the information in the group so you guys can access it later too and dig a little deeper. Like I said, these are just overviews, but I didn't even know about Sierra Interactive. And so I think the more that we know, sometimes it's a fit for people that in our own businesses, our teams, or even people we're talking to. So cool. Scott, thank you for sharing and being here this morning.
No, thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Scott, they are saying that the QR code's not working. So if maybe,
I will
you
get that
wanna-
looked at and get a revised one to you possibly
Awesome.
right now.
That's awesome. Cool.
Actually, it's showing that it's being blocked.
Okay. He'll get us a new one.
Great. Thanks for the heads up.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So we have about 30 more minutes, and what's most impactful and helpful for y'all? Would it be helpful for us to share what we all took away from the Dallas meetings? Any specific questions you guys have right now that we can jump into? This is your call.
This is Sean. I got a question. Was there any talk about clear cooperation in the
There was-
Dallas meetings, or was it just internal stuff?
It was all internal stuff. We didn't talk about clear cooperation. Leo's been taking a stance on that quite a bit. I think more is to come, but yeah, we talked about more of the internal, more resources that are coming, more support. We've got 2,500 employees, y'all, that are there to support us in all sorts of things. We've got what I learned, we have 350 software engineers and engineers working on all of our platforms and all of our backend, which is pretty incredible. So, I will say Tom Ferry was there for the second day. I had never experienced Tom Ferry. Am I the only one? I was like, how have I never met him or heard him or stuff? I had been in Rene Rodriguez. For some of y'all that know who okay, Stacy. Rene Rodriguez, I went to his mastermind, his private mastermind called Amplify last week in Minnesota. Y'all know that I am always cold, hence I'm in Texas in a blanket right now, and it was negative 13 degrees when we were up there. I'm like, who chooses to live in this? But anyway, so Renee's thing was absolutely incredible. EXP is bringing Renee in for coaching and trainings, John Cheplack, Jared James. And so I'm going to be much more intentional in making sure you all have that information because EXP is opening that from everybody. James, bless you from being from Minneapolis. That was like so crazy cold. I walked out and I think my throat froze. But one of the things that they talked about was we want more people on those calls, and I didn't recognize it was open to everybody. So on the individuals, if you're over a $4 million producer, you're going to be able to get into the the monthly mastermind calls with Jared James and Leo Pareja. It's a 1 hour, sometimes 1.5 hours, crazy impactful. For the teams, if you're a $20 million team or above, they're opening up the John Cheplack and Leo Pareja masterminds once a month. Something to think about. These guys to get coaching from them is usually anywhere from 5 to 10,000 a month. And they're opening up the playbooks for all of us. So I will make sure, as soon as I have all of the links and information, I will make sure to send that to all of you guys, because I think there's so much information being sent that sometimes it gets noisy and lost. And there's a huge opportunity for all of us there. So the Rene Rodriguez thing was incredibly impactful, but then Tom Ferry spoke, and a lot of what he shared kind of connected the dots. So I thought it was super great. We had the first day had 250 people in the room. The next day we had 125 people in the room. So I would love to not talk, but I would love for those that were there. I know Brian Copeland was there. Brian White was there. Who else am I saying? Diller was there. I think she's driving, but Diller got thrown on stage with Rene Rodriguez for an exercise, and it was phenomenal. Poor Diller. She just joined the company, and she's like, wait, what? So Copeland, who else was there? Who else am I seeing? Emily was there. So Jessica was there. Y'all jump in. What were some takeaways that would be impactful to share to this group this morning?
Yeah, first of all, Diller crushed it on stage in front of 250 people she had never met. That was pretty incredible stuff.
She said when she's like, I don't know any of these people here. I was like, well, honey, they all know you now.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool for her to experience that, and especially being at a company that she was number 2 team, and feel the culture and the environment and the collaboration. She said it was unlike anything she's experienced before.
And Emily Diekman the same. She came up to me and said, wow, this is pretty awesome. So
yeah,
I was there the first day. I wasn't there the second day. The first day was more of an attraction mastermind, but I learned a lot of things about the company. And Rene had nothing to do with that. He was all about personal communication. Yeah, we have 2,496 employees. I've always thought it was about 2,000, so I guess we've grown that. We had 44,000 referrals, 44,000 referrals given out through Revenos last year. That is a lot of referral opportunities for all of us. If you're not in Revenos, sign up. Some of it requires certification. Yeah, you have to give up some of your commission for that, but it creates opportunity, and one thing leads to another. John Diamano is on this call, and I know they've been quite involved in listing a lot of institutional properties. So it's good to get your sign in front of homes. That resulted in over 4,000 deals, over 1.1 billion in sales. EXP as a whole, Leo is living up to his words as the CEO, which is he wants operational excellence. Last month alone, 31,000 phone calls came in through EXP. That is a lot of dials that they have to figure out how to handle, how to be efficient with. And the average hold time is like 37 seconds. I mean, it's absurd. So be very proud of where you're at.
Well, and to Brian's point on that really quick, y'all are talking about where do I get leads? 44,000 leads from EXP just from the programs we have internally. So there's a huge opportunity there for you to plug in and lean in there, in addition to the other things that you're doing. You don't have to just rely on that, but it's supplemental.
No, and then if you show up, you get those signs in front of these listings that you end up only getting 1/3 of the commission on. It's okay, because if you show up to the John Dietz training and all these script and roll practice, you know how to convert those people into other business you don't have to pay referral fees on. I mean, it makes complete sense. So our agent count as a company has gone down, but we are perfectly content with that, because the agents that are leaving aren't doing anything. And they're just taking up dead weight. And let's see here. We have, this is crazy. And talking about the growth side of it, first of all, Canva, if y'all aren't using Canva, there's so many YouTube videos and trainings on Canva. Like you can make a reel in 30 seconds. It's insane. With our new plugin on a listing, I mean, with the new AI technology they have built in, and other companies just don't get this. So take advantage of it. 190,000 designs have been created since December. That is the fastest, highest integrated tool that eXp has ever put forth in front of agents. It's most highly adopted. We have $48 billion of agent production in the pipeline looking at eXp as a company. 48 billion. I mean, it's absurd. So for those of you that that are not talking to other agents, somebody is going to bring them. You might as well just open up and get them curious, because there are 44,000 agents in the queue looking at our company right now with 98,000 transactions. Our goal is to have 30,000 agents as a company next year. And we want productive agents. We want to be around producers like us.
And to Brian's point, the ones that left the company didn't just leave the company, but most of them left. I don't remember all the stats, but most of them left the business. Those that have gone to other companies, a crazy stat is 9.2 agents per day are coming back to eXp. So they thought that it would be greener on the other side. They thought they could do something here. They were promised a lot of things, but 9.2 are coming back to us every single day, which is pretty phenomenal. So I thought that was a pretty fabulous stat. And also the FastCap program, Brian, do you have those stats in front of you?
I don't, but I think it just off memory, I think the agents go through there are signing 6 agreements, buyer listing agreements per cohort.
6.8, well,
yeah.
6.8. So it's a 6-week course. It's not just
Right.
brand new agents,
Right.
it's anybody. Like Diller's going through it. Jacqueline's been in the business 22 years. They said it's 6.8 appointments that's resulting in 3.9 contracts
There you go.
for new agents in 6 weeks, y'all. So Fast Track is opening up. They were doing it just one every 6 weeks. Now they're starting to do multiple of, and they're also have an evening.
FastCap.
I'm sorry, FastCap. FastCap, and now they have an evening one. So if y'all have agents that are working part-time or dual career trying to get out of the corporate job, now there's an evening FastCap program for them, which has been really awesome. I have a number of my agents in that. And then what they are coming out with soon, Q2, he's not giving us a date yet, but Q2 is Fast Attract. So you're going to have some of the top training and helping. So those that are interested in the attraction side, even just simple conversations, Fast Attract is coming out too. But the FastCap has been pretty phenomenal in the results so far.
On the sales side, it was really fascinating what Rene Rodriguez does. I mean, he's a freaking magician with the human mind and connection. And he broke down the value of, if you imagine a T-chart, and you have sales on one side, sales math, or the sales process and values. And we basically backed in the process of a sale, which is, you have to talk to somebody, and then that results to a lead. The lead results to a meeting. Meeting results to a contract. Contract results to a sale, right? And we put in percentages of how many talk tos convert to leads, how many leads convert to meetings and contracts and sales all the way up. And if you put values on every conversation you're having, if it's a $10,000 sale, 2/3 of those contracts will convert to an actual closing, right? And then if you take meetings converting to contracts, we put 60% on that. Leads converting to an actual in-person meeting, 50% of those. And then 20% of your actual talk-tos will convert to an actual lead of some sort. If you back those down, every one of your talk-tos on a $10,000 commission results to $400 in value just for every single person you're talking to about real estate. it's actually quite impressive and motivating to think about it that way. Just have
Emily just put it in the
conversations.
chat.
What's that?
Emily just put that all in the chat,
Yeah.
y'all.
So $400 talk to leads to $2,000 in value of a lead. A $2,000 lead converts to a $4,000 per meeting. $4,000 per meeting converts to $6,666 value on a contract. And then that converts to a $10,000 sale. So the point of the matter is just talk to people. You're getting paid to actually talk to people about real estate. The other thing, 2 other points. Does anybody know, put in the comments, what the average net worth of a homeowner is versus the average net worth of a renter? Would love to know. Do y'all know what your average net worth of a homeowner and an average net worth of a renter would be?
I've just heard that the homeowner is on average 40 times higher net worth than a renter. But I don't know the numbers.
Yeah. So pretty crazy. $40,000 average net worth of a renter. That is their complete net worth, $40,000. The average net worth of a homeowner, $396,000. So it's 10 times. And the point of that was, he said, look, I've been coaching real estate agents over 20 years in sales. What would I recommend an agent who's trying to drum up business? And he used an example, go stand outside of a apartment complex and tell anybody walking in or out that you're doing a survey and you'd like to know what the average net worth of a homeowner versus a renter is. Do you have any guess, people? And they'll say, oh my God, like, I don't know, it's X versus X. And once you tell them the number, you say, hey, do you want me to help you 10 times your net worth? And you create a conversation and a potential lead out of it, because those people are going to rent, which means that they will never reach a goal for generational wealth, for a different life, a different opportunity for their family if you continue to pay somebody else's mortgage, right? And the last thing is awkwardness is a requirement for growth. And I thought that was a very powerful statement that he used. Because, like, for example, in that John Dietz Survive to Thrive training every morning, when we do script and role playing, it's awkward as heck the first time you do it. Even the 100th time you do it, because it's just weird. You're doing something you've never done, and that's where growth really happens. So I'll leave it at that.
I'll throw out, especially with the apartment portion, from the net worth standpoint, going back to Aaron Novello being the guy, not and the client's the hero. That would be a really good video topic to do.
Yeah.
Well, Emily and Jess, y'all were there. And y'all being newer to the company, what were some of your ahas, your takeaways that you want to share with a lot of the people here? Putting you on the spot.
Did you say me?
I said Jessica and Emily, either one or both or all.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Jessica, and I don't know the demographic who's on the call, so I feel a little bit like in training wheels. I think the biggest
everybody
is
everything.
Yeah, this is everything from brand new baby agents all the way up all over this is not Austin specific. This is all over the nation. A lot of times we'll have international too, but it's just collaboration. This is our group.
Well, what stood out for me, my background was at Keller, right? And then after I made the switch to Compass, so I've been in the business going into 21 years. I think one of the biggest things that stood out for me is that as much as you guys have really grown as a company, you're still in some ways a startup in the sense that you guys are really, let me say this, the C-level and VPs, they're really listening and they keep moving, right? Going, okay, we hear what you're saying. Let us be malleable and let us come back and work on this. And I thought that was pretty incredible that they're really listening to what the agents are giving them in terms of feedback and they're diving in and tackling it. It was really cool to see that a company that has done so well was still able to go up and talk to Glenn and still able to go up and talk to Leo. And Leo sat in on our mastermind the second day for what I'll call like the individual agents. And he dove in and just gave some really, really cool stats and was really engaged. That was really nice to see. Again, I'm so new to EXP. I'm still getting like KV course set up that I'm those things were really nice to see on top of how collaborative I've always been in what I thought was a collaborative environment. But really people were opening their playbooks and saying, let's get on a call. Let's see how we can help across the nation. It was really cool. There's so
Well,
much
and-
more, but that stood out.
Well, and that's why I think it's powerful, Jess, for you to share that, because you're coming in with a new set of lenses, and a lot of us have been here and we're a little spoiled and we don't realize what we have until we have new lenses coming in. So that's why I asked for you to share. And Emily, same thing. You're relatively new and Emily has a big team. And what were some of your takeaways? I mean, I threw you guys into all sorts of conversations, I know.
It was amazing to be around, just rub elbows with the people that were in that room. Elizabeth, you're amazing to get us in there. So also coming from Keller Williams, that's a franchise, and we had like 3 or 4 people working for us. I wasn't getting my checks to my agents on time. When I called a broker, it's like talking to this wall. I love the man, but you know, he was getting more from me, and I just didn't have a leader that I could go to. And there's so many people working in the background on our behalf at EXP. It's really incredible. So, you know, however many brokers we have here in Texas, and I've been able to go immediately to them over and over again. It's just incredible. But one thing I really liked about Leo sharing, they really did listen, Jessica. It was incredible. I mean, they sat here in this mastermind and they want to know what agents want to know. You know, when LPT came out with that listing in a box and all this stuff, Leo's like hearing the people in EXP say, we need this, we want this. He developed it. He made it cheaper than LPT. And turns out the agents didn't even buy them. It was crazy. So he is adamant about taking whatever the competitor is going to do, whatever new bell and whistle that comes out, and run it through the EXP program to see if it's going to benefit us and actually work for us. And so it was neat to see that he's vetting all these other competitors and applying it to our model and adapting it if it needs to be, and if that's what we want, and if it makes sense. So that was really cool to see. And then I interviewed 17 different agents from around the country that were there. I also interviewed Tom Ferry, Leo, Glenn.
Hold on. Do you see what you just randomly said?
Yeah.
Oh, I interviewed Tom Ferry, Glenn, Leo. Like, y'all, that's amazing. Like, those are usually untouchables in any other setting. And you're like, you just flippantly said, oh yeah, I just interviewed Tom Ferry.
Yeah.
Continue. I just thought that's funny.
Oh, and I just interviewed a billionaire. There
Yeah.
we go.
Oh, I mean, you were in the room with billionaires, like, right? Like, it was crazy and you wouldn't know it. If you didn't know who they were, like, everybody's sitting at the table because they're one of us. We're the clients. And I think that was one thing that you said too. Anyway, Emily, when you just mentioned it like that, that was funny.
It took a lot of nerve to get up and do that. And I had to, you know, but I wanted to see what in those people in the room, a lot of them were enjoying revenue share. And that's one thing I was so turned off with EXP for many, many years. I would have been over here a lot earlier if it hadn't been for people shoving rev share down my throat. And Elizabeth has been so great about not even talking about that with me. But so when I interviewed, I said, why do you like EXP? One thing that you love about EXP, and I don't want to hear rev share at all. And a lot of it was about the collaboration. I mean, and that's truly what it is. That's not a joke. And people opening up their playbooks. And what I've learned in my real estate career is, as I tell people what has made me successful, how many people walk away and actually apply that stuff? Not much at all. And I think don't be afraid to open up your playbook because everybody's doing it. And that's how we are so strong as a whole.
So with the rev share piece, I think what's interesting about that is, Emily, and most of you guys know, I don't ever talk rev share unless somebody really wants to talk rev share. I don't lead with that because that's not who we are. First and foremost, we're a real estate company. And then we have all the incentives with stock and things like that. And 14% of the agents even participate in rev share. That is not what we lead with. We lead with massive production, right? But in the same regard, let's talk about, so EXP versus Keller Williams. Keller Williams is profit share, EXP's rev share. Keller Williams last year, the largest, I mean, they're franchise, right? They've got what, 130,000 agents globally. They paid out 81 million last year in profit share. That's a lot of money, right? If you think about it. And 2024 was one of the worst markets in 35 years. EXP paid out $198 million. What that tells me is we're incredibly productive, because if there's no revenue to share. And then with stock and all the other things that were paid out, it was over $220 million. And so when you're behind a company that's so forward thinking, so innovative, always bringing in amazing resources like Sierra Interactive and partners and things like that, where we're growing and scaling and creating a different environment for people to build their businesses on. We're a platform, but still giving back over $220 million in one of the worst years in the industry. That's saying something, and it's pretty exciting. One of the things that was my big takeaway, and again, I've been here a long time, so it takes a lot to, I guess, kind of impress me, because I'm so used to these conversations. But there is something that they're going to be rolling out, and we will not dig into it deep here because it's messy still. Things have to be messy before they're beautiful, but they're rolling something out on April 1st, and they came to us and they said, this is the framework. As leaders, we want you guys to poke holes and mastermind and tear this all apart. And they literally broke the room into different masterminds, and we came back and gave feedback that they now are taking into their QBR, which is their quarterly business review. All the leadership, corporate C-suite gets together for QBRs every quarter. They are taking it to their quarterly business review, and they are implementing feedback and suggestions that we all made. No company does that, right? I mean, they used to do them in the back end, and they're like, oh, well, we should have had this information before the QBR, and so they reversed it. And so what's really powerful is when the leadership is coming to us saying, you guys are all entrepreneurs, you're all business minded, you're all focused in different ways, but successful. What can you bring together, and what can make us stronger? And we want to take it into our quarterly business review and implement. So I think that speaks to the power of our leadership, our people, our company, and all of us, because we bring massive value to this company. So that was really cool to experience and be a part of. And there were some people that are extremely passionate and fiery and feisty, but that passion is what moves us all forward.
Sean has had his hand up for a long
Oh,
time.
sorry, Sean. Go for it, Sean. And
That's all
counts
right.
too.
I
Sorry,
was
I'm now seeing it.
I was being patient, waiting my turn. So, really quickly about agent attraction, I think we get lost with the idea of finding the high producers, and I don't think, in my opinion, this brokerage was started off high producers. It was started off of entrepreneurs, and every entrepreneur is a hustler, and they're going to work late. They're going to get up early. They're solution based. Yeah, there's always going to be problems. And so when you go out to attract, find the hustler. Myself, when Todd attracted me, I wasn't a top producer. Last year, as Elizabeth stated, was a tough year for most people. I had people really close to me telling me to get out of real estate. But I'm an entrepreneur and a hustler, so I knew I had some holes in my game. I joined Dietz's call. I joined this call, the Tuesday call, got more training. My year ended in February. I'm going to cap in 1 month. So I will cap February 2nd was my beginning of my new year. I'm going to cap next week. So almost 1 month. I have never capped at any real estate company in 1 month.
That's amazing.
And so it's due to, one, me being a hustler, and two, there were tools and opportunities out there to help me with my hustle, right? Energy is one thing, but dedicated energy and smart energy is better. So I would say, for me, when I talk to agents about joining, and if they're, not top producers, I do a litmus test, and that litmus test is join John Dietz's call. It's free. And if they can get up at 8 in and show for 2 or 3 classes, 2 or 3, YouTubes, 8 to 8:30, they're probably a hustler. And they're probably somebody you want to pursue. They're not somebody that is looking for a handout. Give me a sale, give me a lead. We want people that will go out and get their own business, no matter what level they're at. That's it.
Cool. Kemps.
The other portion I think we're not talking about enough, that's the coolest thing at EXP, I think, is real-time payments.
Unpack that a little bit.
Leo went into that a little bit in detail, and I can just tell you, I got used to it really quickly here, because now I had to deal with a previous brokerage that was a new construction deal that stayed there or was closing. it's going to take me probably 2 weeks to get paid on this deal, and it's honestly ridiculous. But then when Leo has been working with, who is it, FDIC? I'm not
It's
sure who the exact organization
yeah.
they're working.
Yeah.
We're with FDIC, and we're the number 3 ranked company using it the most, and that EXP is basically fronting $20 to $30 million in commission. That to me is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, they're floating it out there even before they're paid. They're paying them off a check so that the agents don't have to be impacted. That is pretty cool. And I love that you took that away because again, I'm so used to how EXP operates that I forgot that that's a pebble in people's shoe in a lot of places.
Elizabeth, a couple
Yeah.
of things, just on top of my mind. Number one, I put together a lot of, some agents are new here and don't know, or some just want to know where everything is. I put together a calendar URL just on Google, that y'all can plug in if you want to know. I just put the trainings I show up to, which is the Survive to Thrive Monday through Friday, the Hive Call on Wednesday, and then the Friday Huddle. That's all that's on there, but it has all the links and we'll plug it on your calendar if anybody wants it. Happy to put it in the Zoom chat here. And
That'd be, yeah. Could you do that, Brian?
Yeah.
Because then I'll put it in the group video
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Secondly, EXPCon seems far away, but it's not that far away. Prices already went up on the tickets. I just bought mine yesterday. The prices do continue to rise for those of you that don't know. And then flights are easier to get and lower price right now. So, Southwest may have some refundable flights. So look at that and be thinking about future events because, everybody always says big decisions are made at big events. And you meet
Hey,
amazing.
Brian.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Because again, as a newbie, I didn't know what's the difference between the Miami focus, the Canada, and the one in Barcelona, for example. What's the difference?
I'll let Elizabeth speak to that because I've only been to the EXPCon in the US. So
Yeah, so EXPCon used to be just once a year, and then the shareholders event was once a year. US on the US in the US. As we've grown, and now that we're all over the world, 27 different countries, it's a lot harder for people to come in from around the world, and so they're making it more accessible. So those events are going to be smaller, which is really cool, kind of what we experienced in Dallas, because they're still building and growing, but it's still an opportunity to meet your Canadian counterparts. There's a lot of people that are going to go to Montreal. I went to the first international one last year, which was in Portugal, and it was incredible. And so Barcelona is the one for the international, but we're willing and able to go to any of them. I always go to Miami. I always go to the stateside ones. And by the way, when you're an icon, your stock is tied to that. Your icon award is tied to going to that event. The other ones will count as well, but Miami definitely you want to go to. And I'm going to be going to, I don't think I can do Montreal because of the dates, but I am going to the Barcelona one as well. So it's just because we're global in a bigger way.
If you're not an icon yet, you're about to icon, and you go to EXPCon before you icon, do you still get the credit for it?
No, it's all after the events. But what's happening too is regional rallies now are counting, and there's a lot of other things that show up. AHA events are counting for icon credit, which is cool, and we're seeing those pop up everywhere. And if you guys are interested in AHAs, and if you're not in Austin, go to the AHA organization group or whatever in workplace. So I have AHA was just something we did in Austin, and now they're all over the country. That's where I was in Houston yesterday. They're launching them there. They did 2. We did them back to back. They're in New Hampshire. They're all over the place. So you can get icon credit for attending and speaking at those as well. So there's a lot more ways to get credit, Matt. It just has to be after you are awarded icon. Cool. Speaking of AHA, for y'all in Austin and around Austin, it's a little bit different for March because ABOR had to move our date. It is next Thursday, March 6th. So if you guys can, you had an AHA on how'd it go? How'd the Katie one go? Good. Okay, she's not speaking up. Good. All right, cool. Well, it went good. Kudos. Huh?
Is that the one Ryan was at in Houston?
No, there was so we had some Vanda had one in Katy, which is Northwest Houston, while these were all lining up, and then Rena was doing 2 that I went to help support because I knew about those. So one was in the Woodlands, which Daphne Natasha and Gabby spoke at. They slated, and then there was another one in Central Houston we went to right after, and that was the run when Ryan Gomillion, Rima, and Rennie all spoke at. It was really good. So anyway, the AHA one in Austin is next Thursday. Go to Workplace, get your tickets, and we'd love to see you guys there. It's on short-term rentals and different ways doing it. Amanda Williams does short-term rentals all over the nation. She lives in Cabo. She does short-term rentals from Cabo to North Carolina in a different way. Steady Esneath out of Houston, and he does a whole nother approach. He's got like 300 doors with just one mortgage. It's kind of fascinating what he does. And then our very own Diller Schwartz, she does a lot here in Austin. And so they're bringing 3 different approaches on the short-term rental because so many things have changed and evolved in that space. So it's great for education, but for those that are wanting to get into that space, that are getting in that space, all of the above. So it'll be a great place to network and get to know your other agents, but that's in Austin next week. So, okay, top of the hour. I know this was just more of a random mastermind, which I think sometimes is kind of nice. And Matt, that's amazing what you shared with us. I put that in the group. I hope you can bring more of that to the groups in the future. Next Friday is Renee Funk. She'll be coming in. I'm going to speak it into existence. I'm trying to get Renee Rodriguez in one of these days for us.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I'm speaking it into existence. So I'm talking to him Sunday for something else, but y'all, he's powerful. So have an amazing week. You guys are, I'm so blessed to have you in my world. Make it a great one. And if you need any of us, we're all here. Thanks again, Scott. Bye, y'all.
See y'all next week.